New Zealand is not immune to extremism. July last year, the FBI helps New Zealand police foil a terror plot involving a Hawke's Bay extremist who was planning a mass stabbing attack. This is according to an investigative report by the Herald. The 21-year-old, who had been caught sexually exploiting children, was planning to target a mosque or a mall. So what drives homegrown extremism? Chris Kumeroa is with us, the Global Risk Consulting Director at the desk. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
The details in this was a story from Michael Moore at the weekend, pretty graphic, but extremist is the way to put it. Is this common?
I think it's a growing trend globally and equally across the nation. I think if we look at how they're sort of being groomed and or extorted mainly through Snapchat and or games like Minecraft, where they start to develop a relationship, send them content that may not be approved by family members, starts to drill them down into a rabbit hole, then they send them more explicit content, and then they're in deep looking at content that may not ordinarily be accepted by New Zealand public and all the services for New Zealand.
Do you mean like terrorist kind of stuff?
Yeah, even the Christchurch attack, the manifesto, the video, sharing that content, and then they sort of get extorted by these chat groups to say that they'll inform either the New Zealand service, intelligence service and or police, coercing them into being victims, and then it's either a sexualisation or financial gain or violence in which they find themselves in a rather tricky position.
So you've seen this beheading video or whatever it might be. I know that you've seen that. I've got proof that you've seen that. If you don't do what I say, I'm going to tell the authorities you've watched it.
Yeah, for sure. They go from being a victim to then coerced to being an offender. And then, they part of what they do is either hurt family animals and or hurt homeless people, and a range of other things they get forced into, and it's very difficult for them to back out.
Jeepers, that's so grim. How do you stop that?
Well, I think in the first instance, there needs to be stronger reporting channels around, where these chat groups exist, and what sort of content that might be coming out of these groups. The intelligence service, SIS, and also police are there, and DIA are there to absorb information and reporting. NetSafe does a really good job around those sorts of things, and then escalate it up through the respective channels.
Is there any way that you can tell, or are there any particular groups or types of chat groups that parents should be worried if their kids are using?
Well, I think all chat groups need to be monitored and or managed in some shape or form. That sort of isolation, disconnect from within the families, where kids are in isolated positions, and friendly chats can then go into more extremist ideological grooming.
It's a bit of a worry. I see this morning, and I haven't mentioned this to you before, Chris, but a majority of adults, so there's about 72% of 1,000 respondents, would agree with a ban for social media for children under the age of 14. So this is parents saying, I want a ban, but it's like, you're the parents. You could be stopping them from doing this. I mean, clearly, the government has no control, the agencies have no control, and the parents clearly are putting their hands up saying they've got no control either.
Well, I think it's threefold, right? It's actually the household management of social media management. I think, the state services have a role to play there, and equally the community, right, is making sure that kids are looking at content that's relatively safe and or easy to manage. But I think, pressure on the social media platforms is a good way to go.
Appreciate your time this morning, Chris. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thanks very much, Ryan.
That's Chris Kumeroa, who's with us, a Global Risk Consulting Director.